So last time I did a video on pension covers, and I've done a video on retirement planning, how to start planning for your retirement. Please watch that video. That was part 1. I did a video on everything you need to know about pension in Kenya. That was part 2. And then now I'm going to answer the main question that I was asked by one of the viewers, which is which are some of the best pension schemes or pension covers in Kenya. Now this is a very difficult question to answer, and therefore there's no way I'm going to rank them number 1 to 2, 3, 4. No, I'm going to give you the factors you need to consider before you choose any pension plan, and then I'm going to tell you the ones that are matching these factors in my research. Welcome to Ken's Money Matters, guys, and here we talk about the money mindset, how to make that money, how to manage that money, how to enjoy that money, and how to invest that money, and how to assure yourself of a lifetime of income. So let's look at some of the ways or some of the factors you need to consider when choosing a pension plan. Now, I spoke about the need for retirement planning. Don't wait to be a burden to people when you're old. Don't wait to be poorer when you're old, because most people end up being poorer when they're old. There are so many benefits to investing for your retirement, and there are so many benefits of investing in your own retirement. There's the state retirement, whereby you're giving money when you're old, and that's just 2,000 right now if you're old. That's the first pillar. Second pillar is whereby there is the NSSF, which will also pay you some money based on whatever it is you are doing, and again, it's very low. And then the third pillar should be yourself, whereby you voluntarily invest in your future. Please invest for pension. This is one of the most important things, and it's one of the things that people need to start thinking about immediately they begin working, or immediately they think about having a job, or immediately they become adults. I know it sometimes looks far off, but it is not far off, and that's why most of our people end up poor in old age. So let's look at some of the factors you may need to consider before you choose a pension scheme, because there are so many. Number 1, it has to be registered by the Retirement Benefits Authority. This is the body that controls all these pension schemes. That registration ensures that it is legitimate, that it is legal, and that your money will always be safe. You don't want to be working with a body that is not registered by the regulatory authorities. So number 1 thing is make sure that whichever one you are considering is registered. So when you go to the Retirement Benefits Authority website, you will find all those companies or those retirement schemes that are registered with the RBA. And from there on, you can now start deciding and narrowing down based on the factors I'm going to mention and the ones I will mention at the end of this video. So that's number 1 factor, is registration. Number 2, you want to ensure that the returns are good. You don't want to be trying to invest for your future and not getting any returns out of it, because most people are busy investing, they're busy saving money, but they haven't actually checked or wondered, where is this money invested? Where does this company actually invest in our money? I know most of them are invested in bonds, which are treasury bonds in Kenya, some in stocks, some in real estate, some in what we call the immovable assets. Of course, real estate is one of them. But you need to know where your company is investing. All of them have their different portfolios with regards to pensions, and so you need to understand where is yours invested. And for you to understand that, you need to know what is the return. So if you're getting a good return out of your investment, like let's say you're getting 8-10%, that's not so bad. But again, if you're getting very high, you must ask yourself, what risk investments is this scheme taking? Could they possibly lose all the money? So these are things you need to consider. Always know the rate of return. You don't want to be investing and losing money, because if they can't even give you something above 5%, that means you're not even beating the inflation of the country, which usually says at 4 to 6%. So if the inflation is 4 to 6%, if you're getting less than that, then you're losing money over time. It's like putting your money in the bank, basically. So in that case, you have to find one that will work for you, that will give you the returns you require. So that's the second thing that you must consider. You must consider the rate of return. So if the rate of return, like I say, is an average of around 10 to 11%, it can come down to 9 based on their interest rates set by central bank. It will fluctuate, but it shouldn't be so low that it doesn't beat inflation, and it shouldn't be so high that the investments become too risky and you risk losing everything. So that's important. Number 3, you want to look at the affordability and flexibility of it. Affordability here means that what fee do they charge you? This is very important. Most people never know about the fees. We know about the fees after we join, or later when they have taken so much and you're wondering where your money is going to. So always know the fees of your investments. Anywhere you're going to invest, ask them how much they're charging you. Nobody's doing business for free. Nobody's going to just manage your money for free for 30-40 years. They have to be charging you some money. You need to know. So that percentage again should be low enough to enable you have a good retirement pot. Of course, all of them will be charging you differently based on your investment strategy and stuff like that, but that fee should not be above what you don't expect. Personally, I say that anything above 1% is a no for me. So it depends on what you want. It depends on what kind of criteria you're using. So look at the affordability of the pension covers you're going to choose, and then look at the flexibility. How can you change the amount you're contributing every month? How can you change the agreements? How can you change some of the things that you're doing with regards to your own money? Some of them are so rigid and so fixed that if you go and you tell them, oh, I want to change the amount I'm contributing monthly, because life happens and sometimes you want to increase or reduce, but they don't want that, or they don't allow you, or some won't allow you when you want to increase and not reduce. And things like withdrawal and stuff like that, I discussed in the previous video, how to be considered. Can you withdraw your money? How much will you withdraw and stuff like that? So make sure, guys, that you know that whatever you're choosing, whichever scheme you're choosing, is very affordable in your opinion, and also very flexible. And then you want to consider the options of the details of that contract you're going to sign. The contract details will be things like how do you withdraw your money, how do you access your money, and such like stuff. Look at the options available to you. Make sure that it matches your investment strategy. Always consider the contract details, the small print. Look at what they're saying about returns. Look at what they're saying about access of your money. Look at what they're saying about the investment strategy, and then consider the different options that you may have. Never ever just be so sold on one thing. Like I always say, nobody sits there to make you money. They're making you money because they're benefiting. So look at it from the perspective of you doing business, and you want to know how the other person is benefiting too. If you take care of the other person, they will take care of you. If you don't, they may look like they're taking care of you, but they are not taking care of you. They're taking care of themselves. So consider different options when it comes to these pension schemes. Don't say, okay, Ken said I should settle for this one and this down I'm going with. Let it match your investment goals based on all these things I've mentioned and in comparison to the others that are available. Then another very important factor that I always tell people to consider is good governance, management of that scheme. I always say, make sure you know that the management is stable. Look at the history. This is available online. You can check the manager of your pension funds. You can check their history, what they've done so far. Make sure you are comfortable with the governance of the whole scheme so that you're not always worried about your money. This is something that's long term. You don't want to be so worried about whether your money is and whether it's doing well and whether the company will stand the test of time. So make sure that you always know what can be done in that sense. Make sure you know that the management is stable and the management is in a position to take care of your money professionally and in a way that will give you peace. And then finally, if there are any additional benefits, make sure you are taking them. There are tax exemptions, which of course that's national, so you will be tax exempt to a certain amount of money. Make sure all these things are included in your plan and are taken care of. So you must know the national rules with regards to pension and what you deserve. Again, I've done that on my videos. You can check that out. Make sure you look at some of the pension providers who come up with additional benefits for you. And that's why it's very important to compare the options. Like I said, make sure you're comparing different options so that you can also tell when you're getting additional benefits from a particular provider, and you may decide to go with them. So if there are anything that you may want to consider again, please comment below. Let me know if there's any that you did consider when you were starting out, or the ones you really want to consider right now, or even the ones I've not mentioned but you think are very important. Somebody would say, for example, they want an efficient one they can control through their phone. Again, it depends on what you want, but yes, you have to ensure that your company provides all these before you begin. So based on this criteria, which companies do I suggest you should go to? I'm just going to list them, and this list is based on these factors I have just spoken about. So I'm going to look at the history, the stability of those companies, the returns and stuff like that, but I won't really put them under each one of them because all of them match these criteria. So I did match 5, and I know there are so many more out there. I looked at this RBL list of registered schemes. There are quite many, but the top 5 that matched this criteria that I would definitely use. Number 1 is Old Mutual, very good with pension covers. Number 2 is Brigham. Number 3 is Zimele Personal Pension Plans. Number 4 is Jubilee Holdings, very stable for a very long time and has very good returns. And number 5 is ICEA Lion. These are some of the companies that have been very stable for a long time in Kenya. They have given very consistent returns, and as we speak, there are people benefiting from them, taking their retirement out of these pension schemes, basically using their money or withdrawing, or what we call the drawdown. They're already benefiting from these. So yeah, These are some of the companies I came across, and I believe these 5 companies I've mentioned do match all the factors that I spoke about that must be considered. So like I said, ICA, Old Mutual, Jubilee Holdings, Britam, British American. These are some of the companies you want to look into. Thank you, and I hope you're starting to think about your pension, you're starting to think about your retirement, and you're ready for the old age. You don't want to be poor at old age. And remember, there's also tax exemption when it comes to retirement benefits, so you may need to think about that right now. Let me know what you think in the comments section below, and if you have anything that we should discuss here, why not bring it on. See you next time.